Welcome. This video is to demonstrate the instructions for the MIP deficiencies process in Maximo, otherwise known as SMP 102. The purpose of this document is and procedure is to ensure that all MIP equipment deficiencies are identified and recorded in Maximo, along with decisions and actions taken to remedy these deficiencies. The document covers a scope, tells you where the definitions are, goes through responsibilities, and then goes through these instruction steps. The first section is for PM and PDM work orders for MIP equipment. All late PM, PDM work orders will appear on the overdue MIP PM's report, tracked in any status. Now, anyone can access these reports, but they are particularly helpful for MIP coordinators and supervisors who would like to see which PMs are overdue for MIP equipment. The reports can be found in the Select Action drop-down list, Run Reports, and you'll see the new ones begin with an MIP. We're going to deal with MIP late PMs and MIP open CM, EM safety work orders. So with late PMs, there is one parameter that can be adjusted. The wildcard percentage means you're going to bring up all the teams, or you could take that out and just write one team in there if you want to look at just one team. But looking at all teams, you would submit the report. The report will come back looking like this: overdue PMs for MIP locations. It's divided into sections. Each section is a team: engineering, high cam, and then the report is sorted by priority and the days late, that is, days past the finish no later than date here. Any PM which already has a follow-up will have a black box around the follow-up work order. This one, 2910124, has an EM work order follow-up. It gives information about that. So here's the high chem team section. Here's the mechanical section, the solids team, and way at the bottom there's the missed and cancelled PMs for MIP locations. This is just for information purposes. It only covers the week before, and because these missed and cancelled PMs are handled by another process, we won't be talking about that today, but that's there for information. Now, there are hyperlinks on this for if you'd like to go to a particular work order. You just need to click on the hyperlink, and if you signed into your Maximo, it'll bring it up. All PMs which are overdue will have this box appear in it now. It's a new box: MIP deficiency reporting. This MIP PM PDM work order is past due. If continued use of this equipment is desired, then a follow-up work order of work type EM and a task priority of 20 is required. Otherwise, if the equipment is to be stopped, then a CM follow-up work order must be created and the Will Stop Use option selected. Check the Related Records tab for existing follow-up work orders, and if not found, create one as required. This last bit here refers to Related Records tab, which is this here. This is where you would look if you wanted to see if there's anything related to this particular work order. You'd look in here and we find there is none. We need to create a follow-up work order. The team would look at this equipment and decide whether they want to continue use while they do this PM or complete it. And so they do a follow-up work order. You do that by going to the Select Action drop down, do Create Follow-up Work Order. The follow-up work order will have this new box here called MIP Deficiency Reporting. Because they want to continue use of the equipment, they will make this follow-up work order an EM. They will give it a task priority of 20, and then they would have to select one of the deficiency types. There are 4 of them. One is associated with defects or degraded. one's for exceeding the limits of the equipment, one's for out of spec, and one's for safety related deficiencies. So you would pick one. Two buttons, you will stop use or request continued use. Do you wish to request continued use? You press that, and a message to you would say, by selecting this option, you are requesting authorization from an O&M manager for the continued use of the MIP asset. Immediately contact O&M managers for approval to continue to operate deficient equipment, and enter a work log entry with an explanation why it is safe to continue operation of equipment. Click yes to continue with your choice. Immediately, today's date, everything has to be done immediately for this case. The action you've chosen is to request a use for continued use, and this records the date that that decision was made. So as directed, you would want to put in your case as to why this machine should be continued in use during this period. So you go to the log, you put in an entry, you'd explain why the equipment can still be used, and you'd fill in, if necessary, details to put your case to the O&M manager. You'd save that, you'd go back here. So the O&M manager would receive an email that looks like this as soon as you've saved this, the work order. It says that MIP equipment notification for continued use of this operating location has been made. Please go to the work order listed below to review this request to continue using the piece of equipment. You can approve or deny this request and review the work order by following this link. So they just click on this link here, and logging in as an O&M manager, this is what the O&M manager will see. They have two different buttons, a disapproving button and an approve button. They'd read the information, they'd go to the log to read your entry as to why it should stay going, and they'd make a decision. If the decision is to approve, then they'll click to approve continued use. By selecting this option, you are indicating that the MIP asset is authorized for use. Click yes to continue with your choice. An email will then be sent to the team, and the team would get this. It says that the request to continue use of this MIP equipment has been approved by the O&M manager. If the O&M manager decides to disapprove, they would push on this button, and by selecting this option, you are indicating that the MIP asset should be shut down immediately and is not authorized for use until the work order corrective action has been completed and this work order closed. Please contact Team Supervisor for equipment shutdown. Click yes to continue with your choice. It emphasizes communication, so people need to call each other, go and see each other to make sure the equipment shuts down. As soon as that is said yes, then the dates change. The finish no later date now pops 14 days ahead, so that you're given 2 weeks to correct the matter. It says that discontinued use was decided, and this is the date that that action was taken. A new email is sent to the team which says that the request to continue the use of this equipment has been denied by the O&M manager. Please cease use of this equipment until further notice. Now, going back to the decision the team make, if the team decides that the equipment should be stopped, then they would create a CM follow-up work order. So again, you go to select action, create follow-up work order. This time you would have a CM here. You would choose your priority, whether it's non-urgent or urgent. We'll make it urgent. And again, you would choose your deficiency type. Maybe it exceeds the limits. This time, you'll say you're going to stop use of the equipment. By selecting this option, you're indicating the MIP asset will be taken out of service, or it is out of service. Click yes to continue with your choice. So when you do that, it populates, gives you 2 weeks from the date today to fix the problem. You've just made an action to stop use, and that's the date of the action that you made that decision. There are no emails sent out. It's all within the system, and you have the time to complete this CM while the equipment is stopped. So there is also a report for CMs and EMs and safety work orders. So you go to select action, drop down, run reports, and this time you choose the MIP open CM EM safety. And again, you could choose a team or two teams, or put the wildcard in like this percentage to get every team. Submit. Now this report is again divided into sections for each team and providing information across the board there. And instead of having follow-up work orders in the black box, it would provide the originating record, such as this one. This EM had a PM that it was following. Again, divided into sections and providing originating records. If a work order is opened in the normal way, you press on the create work order, and then you'd put in a location, which is an MIP location. Then you would, if you selected a CM, this box would automatically turn up, MIP deficiency reporting. So you would fill out the usual fields that you have to for a work order. In addition, you would do the deficiency types again. If the deficiency is that, and then you'd make a decision as to whether you wanted to stop the equipment while you do this or to continue use. For continued use, you do the same. You request, you would make it a high priority, such as 20, and then you would request continued use. Email would go to an O&M manager who make the decision. Alternatively, you could stop use as before, and you get 2 weeks again to complete that work. So those are the steps for the CM, EM and safety work orders, and that concludes our video for today. Thank you.